I actually, so he doesn't get elected, and then I get involved in local campaigns.
Okay.
So Dolores Sabanga, who's a Filipino woman, was running for mayor at the time in 1988, 89. Yeah. And so I got involved in her campaign. And then after, and her campaign also lost, but this man named Art Wong, who's a representative from Tacoma, hires me on as his legislative assistant in 1990. I worked for him for a year and a half in 1991, and then in 1992, this seat opens up. And then the Asian elected officials around the table, they said, you know, there's a seat open. Maybe we should look for an Asian American to run. And then they all kind of turned to me. I was their like little secretary, right, taking notes. They all kind of turned to me and they said, Velma, why don't you think about it? And I said, yeah, right. You know, I just kind of laughed it off. And then the more they talked about it, the more it seemed feasible. I remember Cheryl Chow drew a little stick drawing of me holding up a sign saying, you know, Velma for state rep, right? And then this is the one thing I really want to tell you, because for me it was a very empowering moment. January 18th, 1992, I wrote in my diary, I'm going to run for office to declare this country as my home. And before that, I never really thought of it as my home. I mean, I never really thought of the United States as my home. I have lived here for so many years and gone through so many trials and tribulations. But because of the experiences that I have had, I never really felt welcomed here. And it was only that day when I made that declaration to make this country my home that it becomes a reality for me. And it becomes a country where I want to invest in emotionally, politically, everything. And I don't know if you ever feel that. You know how like Americans feel like, oh, I don't want to be in this country, so they move out and they go live elsewhere.
Right.
For me, it was the other way around.